Good morning, students. Let us discuss a new lesson in this class, abolition of Jamindari system. Already you know Jamindars. So who are called Jamindars? Who are having more lands in their control. Those are called Jamindars. More than hundreds or thousands of acres they have at the time. So those are called Jamindars. Okay, so now how the Jamindari system was abolished we will discuss in the class. So rural poverty at the time of independence. What is the meaning of poverty? Poverty means poor people. So who are not having land and who are not having a proper income for their livelihood. Those are called poor or below poverty line. The people who are in below poverty line are called poor people. Okay, at the time of independence, so the biggest challenge faced by the country was acute poverty. So wherever you go in rural areas, all the people are depending on agriculture, and those were not able to earn proper income to lead their lives. Okay, so most of the people, it is estimated that more than half of the rural population who are living in the rural area. So half of the rural population, nearly 55% was very poor. 55% was very poor means they don't have lands, they don't have a good income. Okay, so these are around 18.6 crore people. So at the time total population nearly 55 crores. So some people are were living in urban areas. So out of rural area people, so 55% of the very poor. So those are nearly 18.6 crores population of India. So they did not have access to any resources like land. First one, they don't have a land. Those were worked as laborers in others' lands, and they did not have education also. Those were not educated, and means uneducated people. So that's why they never get any gainful employment to earn income. Okay, and even though opportunities for employment were very few. Why? Because our country was not developed as industrially, technologically, okay, at the time of independence. That's why most of the people, nearly 70% or above the 70% people depending on agriculture at the time. Okay. So the only employment open to them was the extremely low paid agricultural laborers. There is no alternative. Every rural person should depend on agriculture to get income. Okay, next. A very large proportion of peasants were landless. Here, peasant means who are doing agriculture. Like farmer is called a peasant. But these are doing agriculture, but those lands are not their own. They are doing agriculture by taking land from the landlords on lease. Means they should pay rent or tax or some portion of the crop to the landlord. So most of the peasants were landless. Okay. So some have taken lands from the landlords on rent. So some are did as sharecroppers, and even the tenants should pay the rent or tax to the landlords, as well as they should do forced work in their lands. So those are called forced labors. Okay, so at the time, hunger constantly hunted them, and famines and epidemics were frequent and devastating. So those were not happy. Okay, so at the time of independence, it was widely agreed that so we should end the rural poverty by abolishing the Jamindari system. So, how we can end the rural poverty? When we provide the lands to the people for cultivation, then only we can end the rural poverty. So, in that process, our governments try to abolish the Jamindari system or landlordism. So many agitations also done at the time of British rule also. So focused on the attention on the problems, demands and hopes of the peasants. So what are the demands of the peasant here? So at the time of British rule and after the independence also, so many agitations were started. So against the landlordism. So what are the demands? One is they demanded reduce the taxes, and they should free from the money lenders and terror of the Jamindars. So they demanded these things. Okay. They also demanded that the land should belong to the peasant who actually plowed. So who are tilling the land, that should be hand over to the tiller only. That is the meaning of that, land to the tiller. So land to the tiller was the slogan at that moment. Okay, so all the peasants agitated against the Jamindari system and they demanded, one is they asked reduce the taxes, second one is they should be free from the money lenders and free from the terror of the Jamindari system, and the lands who are tilling, so those lands should be given to those peasants. That is the meaning of land to the tiller. Okay, next. Abolition of Jamindari and other intermediary tenures. So finally, after so many struggle, the law to abolish the Jamindar system was passed in 1950s by all state governments in our country. When? In 1950. So, as per this law, so all the Jamindars are abolished, and along with that, forced labor like beggar and vetti also abolished. So, by this law, most of the grievances of the rural people were fulfilled. So to abolish the Jamindar system, our government taken some actions. Actually, at the time, Jamindars are having control on 3 types of lands. Before the abolition of Jamindari system, the Jamindars are holding on 3 types of lands. So, we will see. So, firstly, collection of land revenue. So, at the time, all the taxes collected by the Jamindars and they repaid to the government after deducting some amount. Okay. Next, secondly, control over cultivated land. So, to abolish the Jamindari system, we have to abolish the control on the lands which are there in the Jamindars. So, Jamindars are having control on the lands in the 2 ways. One is, so they had given lands to tenants on lease. So those are called either recognized tenants or normal tenants. And the second one is some lands are were under direct cultivation of the landlords. So they are having hundreds of or thousands of acres. Out of those, some lands given to peasants to cultivate under lease. Second one is the Jamindars only cultivating lands directly. So, thirdly, control over forest and wastelands. So, these three types of control was there by the Jamindars. So, how they abolished these, we will discuss. First of all, laws were passed to end the system of revenue collection by Jamindars. Now, first step, what they did? So, the system of revenue collection by Jamindars were abolished. So, now all the owners can pay the taxes to the government by themselves only, directly by themselves. So, when we implemented this, actually previously Jamindars were collected and paid to the government after deducting some amount. By that they got some income. Now they are going to lose this income. That's why government decided to compensate them by lump sum payments. Compensation means they are fulfilling the government paying some amount against the loss. That is the meaning of compensation. So the compensation was about 20 to 30 times more than their annual income. So government had paid some compensation to the Jamindars. That was the 20 to 30 times more than their annual income. So first step. Second step, the lands of Jamindars which were cultivated by recognized tenants was taken over by the government. First of all, the lands under the Jamindars were taken by the government and those were redistributed to the tenants or peasants, and tenants were declared the owners of the land. So what they are cultivating or tilling, so those lands given to the tenants only, and those were declared as the owners of that land. They had to pay tax directly to the government. Next, here government already decided to pay some compensation to the Jamindars against the loss bear by the Jamindars. So that's why the government asked the peasants to whom they are distributing the land to pay some amount. A rule that the tenants would be given land only if they paid some price for it. They fixed some amount, 1,000 or 5,000 per acre. So who are tilling the land? The peasants, the landless people who paid that minimum amount to the government. So then only they will be declared as the owners of that lands. So at the time, some peasants, nearly 2 to 2.5 crore tenants benefited, and they paid the prescribed amount which is fixed by the government, and they became the owners of the land they tilled. However, hundreds of thousands of poor peasants could not pay the price and did not have legal recognition as tenants. Okay, so the poor people remained landless, sharecroppers or laborers, and had to keep working in the fields of big peasants and farmer Jamindars. So by this, so because of government fixed some amount, so because of that the poor people unable to pay that amount to the governments. That's why those were not become the owners of the lands. Next, third one, the law also said that the Jamindars would be the owners of their own Kudkusht land, which they cultivated directly either through sharecroppers or laborers. So, what is the meaning of Kudkusht land? Kudkusht land means the land which is cultivated by owners or Jamindars directly. That land is called Kudkusht. So, but here, which lands comes under Kudkusht lands? So, the lands which lands are cultivated by the owners with the help of laborers or sharecroppers. The lands which are given to the peasants on lease, those are not comes under Kudkusht land. Clear? So, this provision actually enabled most Jamindars to retain control over the most of the lands, as they declared their tenants to be sharecroppers or laborers. Actually, they had given lands to tenants on lease. But after passing this law, so to utilize the loophole of the law, so what they did, the tenants to whom the land given on lease, those are declared as the sharecroppers. Here sharecroppers means only who are tilling the land can share the part of the yield to the Jamindar. Those were not taken land on the lease. Okay, so all tenants also declared as the sharecroppers or laborers. And sometimes what they did, they evicted the large number of tenants to take over their lands for self-cultivation, to utilize that loophole in the law. They used various loopholes in the law to retain control over large portion of land. So this became the law. Land Reform Acts did not set a limit to the amount of land a person could own. So there was the limit according to this Jamindari Abolition Act 1950, that was not fixed the limit, the amount of land a person could own. That's why all the Jamindars showed whatever the lands under them, so are cultivating their own. They showed like that. Next, as per the new laws, the government took over the waste and forest lands held by Jamindars. So at the time what they did, the Jamindars tried to make the most of it by cutting down all the trees and selling them to earn income. So what they did, so before handovering these lands to the government, so they cleared the forests. They cutting down all the trees and selling them. So that's why what happened, large forest tracts were destroyed. So same time the government taken those lands from the Jamindars, and those were redistributed to the peasants or landless people. Okay, next, abolition of Jamindar system in Telangana. So at the time Telangana was under the Nizam rule. Okay, in Telangana also so many powerful movements were started by the peasants against the Jamindari system. So before independence also, in 1927, forced labor or vetti had been abolished, but this law was not implemented in our area. So later Telangana armed struggle was strong. So at the time, so this practice, vetti and forced labor was put to an end in 1948. That was abolished in 1927, but in some areas that was put an end in 1948. Okay. In 1945, before independence, when the Telangana movement was beginning, the Nizam had made many laws to protect the tenants at will. So, at the time of Nizam rule, so there was a Telangana movement in 1945. So, at the time, so Nizam was also made some laws to protect the tenants at will. So, this happened by registering them and giving them permanent rights to cultivate. So, with that, some tenants got some rights on their lands. So, immediately after the merger of Hyderabad state, the Nizam, who was still the head of Hyderabad government, issued a farman abolishing the serf-e-khas. So the personal freedom of the Nizam and all forms of forced labor like vetti was abolished through that farman. Okay, through another farman dated 15th August 1949, Jagirs means samsthanams and small kingdoms were abolished after independence. So the dominant sections of these cultivating communities of these Jagirs got patta rights on lands. Patta rights means at the time registrations were not there. So one right given by the government, document given by the government, that is called patta, means those names will be registered in MRO office. That is called the patta. So as per the Hyderabad Jagirdar Abolition Act, so large Jagirs were taken over by the government within few days. So in return, the government had paid 18 crores of rupees as compensation to the Jagirdars or Zamindars. So due to this act, about 995 Jagirdars were removed. 995 Jagirdars were removed, and that land was redistributed to the farmers or cultivators. And later they reduced the land tax also. Next, the new government appointed the Hyderabad Agrarian Reform Committee. So primarily to look into the question of land concentration and aspects of increasing production, and also study the aspirations of the farmers and tenants under the existing systems. So what are the aspirations, grievances of the farmers? To study that, so one committee was appointed. So the committee made far-reaching recommendations like removal of middleman, ceiling on land ownership, taking away surplus lands from the landlords, protection to tenants, etc. So, however, only some of its recommendations were implemented at the time by the committee recommendations. Next, the famous Hyderabad Tenancy Act was passed in 1950, protecting all types of tenants. Here tenants means already you know that who took the lands from the landowners to cultivate. So at the time the tenants were not having any rights, so they can remove at any time, evicted any time. So now that was stopped by the Hyderabad Tenancy Act 1950. According to this 1950 Act, there is an agreement between owner and tenant. They should be continue for particular period without removing from their lands. Okay, so all the tenants who were in continuous possession of land for a period of 6 years were made protected tenants or pattadars after a little payment. So that's why now the landowners not giving lands on lease for longer period. They are giving only 2 or 3 years, not 6 years. If any tenant having the hold for 6 years, they will become the owners of that land according to the Tenant Act. Okay, that's why landowners not giving lands on lease for longer period. Now they could not be evicted easily and could continue to cultivate the land for generations. So again, similarly, the Hyderabad Enam Lands Abolition Act was promulgated in 1955. So Enam means donation, presentation given by the Jamindars or kings. So that was also abolished. Okay, so tomorrow we will discuss about Bhudan movement and Land Sealing Act in the next class. Okay, so write your own points. Thank you.